Hello and welcome to the Here We Golf Fantasy Podcast powered by FanTeam.com. FanTeam are Europe's largest fantasy offering, doing loads and loads of sports. But obviously we are interested in golf, aren't we?
Yep.
We are affiliated with FanTeam and our link is in the description if you want to sign up to them. If you sign up with them, you get a free £2 entry into this week's event. If you make a paid entry, you get a £12 entry into the next event. So I'd give that a go if I were you. It's a cracking event, thousands of pounds in the prize pot, and there's not too much competition, to be honest with you. So yeah, give it a go. Let us know how you get on. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
Pretty tough one this week, isn't it?
Texas Children's Houston Open.
Yeah.
We'll not cover off last week's. Once I forget for me,
it was so difficult.
It was a tough one, wasn't it? Yeah, pricing wasn't
great, but to be fair, it wasn't bad for everyone else. I think it was just me and you that didn't like it, to be honest. So,
there was a big, massive focus on the weather, wasn't it? Because the swing between the AM and PM, and in the end, those who had the in theory the rough side of the draw actually came through and played well, like Justin Thomas and Lowry and stuff. So didn't have the impact that we thought it might. My team was heavily weighted, focusing on the weather. Yeah, and screwed me over.
I even picked Justin Thomas. I didn't captain him, which was my downfall. But Hadwin, even though he was about 3 under on the first day, didn't make the cut. Putting him, didn't put him.
See, Adam Hadwin's a sprinkler gate.
And then he's put his foot on it. What are you going to do with your foot?
Yeah, instant regret. And just his face was just like...
Devastated. He deserved to miss the cut after that, to be fair.
What a fool.
And Brian Campbell, it's over. No, it wasn't a good week for me at all.
No, so we'll swiftly move on then.
Yep, happy with that.
Yep, so Texas Children's Houston Open.
Yep.
At the Memorial Park Golf Club. Long one, this one.
Big,
only a par 70 because it's got 5 par 3s on it, but 7,400 yards long in total.
Yeah.
The greens have got runoffs, so you obviously your approach play needs to be dialed in, but the chances are you're going to find yourself a few times in these areas where you're chipping on the Bermuda grass as well. So you need around the green game needs to be strong.
Yeah.
Because you're coming in from a ways out. And your putting needs to be on form as well, because if you do it in greens, you'll be putting from a distance as well. And when you're scrambling, getting up and down for pars and stuff like that on the 10 par 4s. Around the green and putting the big one for me this week.
And taking advantage of them 3 par 5s. They're the only scorers really that you sort of guarantee on tour. So
last few weeks we've had very much ball striking sort of courses, haven't we, on the Florida swing? Nowhere near as much water, only 4 holes of water in play this week, and a lot less bunkers as well.
What metrics are you looking for this week?
So metrics, as I say, quite heavily around the green. Last 24, putting last 24. Bogey avoidance, because, as I say, because you're scrambling, there's going to be scenarios where par's a good score. And so I've got scrambling and bogey avoidance in there. Puts from 10 to 15 feet, because, as I say, if you're scrambling, you're going to probably have plenty of par saves needed. Because of the amount of par 3s on the course, I've got a bit of weightage on strokes gained par 3. A little bit on course history again, just because, as I say, I prefer to have just a little bit of horses for courses in there. So, and then because it's third longest on tour as well, strokes gained on long courses.
Yeah.
So that's the crux of my model this week.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah.
For yourself?
I've gone similar with scrambling. I think scrambling is going to be a big one. I've also gone strokes gained on par 5s. If they're the only ones that you can really score on, then I think it's a big one. And I've also just gone weighted strokes tee to green. just for not much, like I think 20% tee to green, but it's just one of them. It's something that you need to definitely be aware of, and it just promotes consistency if you strokes tee to green, really, is what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way.
Yeah, so we mentioned the weather last week as well, and that the swing, it's very much, seems a lot more consistent this week. Gusting between sort of 15, 25 mile an hour across both days, Thursday, Friday. Easing a little bit in the evening, but I don't think that's going to affect play a huge amount. And it didn't make a difference last week, did it? And that was a big swing, so I'm not really considering the weather too much. There is thunderstorms forecast for Friday.
Yeah.
So watch out for that. We might end up having a shorter tournament again. Aye. But yeah, in terms of sort of course layout and model criteria, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
2024, we've got Stephan Jaeger is defending champ.
Yeah.
And then Tony Finau from 2022 as well. 2023, beg your pardon.
I like Jaeger's chances this week.
Jägermeister.
The problem for me is with the pricing structure. I think he's just that little bit too expensive for him to make it in the team.
Yeah, I think compared to last week, I was struggling to find any sort of value outside the top guys.
This is totally different.
Crap. Whereas I can feel like I can make a decent balance on this week.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll go through the pricing then.
Yeah, go
on. Tier 1, Scottie and Rory are playing this week.
Yeah.
World ranked 1 and 2. Scheffler's 25.4 monies. Rory McIlroy is next on 23.4 monies, two monies cheaper. And then there's a drop then. JJ Spawn, who I'm absolutely staggered at his price, 19.8. I think he's just so overpriced.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope it doesn't come back to bite me, but he's of absolutely no consideration. If you're talking about value, he's not. The same with Aaron Rai as well, 19.6.
I don't see value in Aaron Rai, but I do think he'll do well. So
yeah, he's consistent, isn't he? But for consistency, I'm not prepared to pay that much. I want someone who's going to go and win.
Yep, agreed. But again, you need cuts made, don't you, in this game? So it's
but I think there's cheaper options if you're looking for cuts made. So he's overpriced for me. A guy who's the first one to come to or consider potentially value is Sung Jae Im, 19.2 monies. High up on my model, comes in at third this week.
For me, I can't look past Scottie Scheffler after all I've said this week. It's such a depleted field. He's got to win sometime, or he's not going to shit overnight.
Yeah,
like he's still dangerous every time he plays. And I know the money's massive, but I've been able to fit him in my team with just a little bit of a adjustment there.
Have you?
So, given that he's so large, I think it's a risk, but it's Scottie in it.
It detracts from the rest of your team spending that much money on one guy, though, doesn't it?
It does. But my model's 6.
He's clear on my model as well. Like
he's clear.
Yeah.
So it'd be silly for me not to.
But you just have to look at the eye test, don't you? He's not there. He's not 100% for me. Like I want to see Scottie being Scottie.
Yeah.
To have the confidence to spend that much of my budget on him. Like he was visibly frustrated, the players, wasn't he? Like he was out of sorts.
Yeah.
Cool.
But he's still
week off last week. He might well have refreshed himself, but
you never know.
That's a lot of money for me. But yeah, Sung Jae quite high on the model.
Yeah.
But bit out of sorts his last few events. He's had a couple of missed cuts in the tie 61 last time out of the players.
Yeah.
So
do you see value in 19.2 million though for Sungjae?
As I say, compared to the price of the guys above him, I think that's where we start coming into looking at value, but not for me, just on his recent form. He's not shown enough of late, although his metrics are pretty good for what I'm looking for this week. As I say, he's third on the model.
Yeah. What about Davis Thompson? That's just a complete overreaction, isn't it, to last week's event?
I think so. and he could end up being quite popular. But he's doing okay on my model. It's quite high up, but I think there's better considerations around the price point.
Yeah.
He had 2 missed cuts before the tie for 10th last week, where he's lost strokes on his putting, which, as I say, it's a big one for me this week.
Yeah.
So whilst he's done okay at the Players last week, I think if he was a couple of monies cheaper, I'd probably maybe consider him. But that's you want someone who can give you a chance of winning at that price, and I don't think you got to go back to October. He's had for the last top 10 where he's had a tie for 5th at the Shriners.
Jason Day as well. It's exactly the same as what you've just said there. 18 million is so high for him. I definitely consider Jason Day if he was maybe 16 and a half, maybe.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one, lad.
Really?
Yeah, he's been captain.
Wow.
Yeah, Captain Day. Just on his
form.
Yeah, tie for 8th at the Arnold Palmer. He missed last week through illness.
Yep.
But he's around the green. Stats are consistently there now in this last few months. Gained nearly 6 strokes putting at the Arnold Palmer as well. And he's just
got back up.
He's a class. He's hanging around the top 10, top 15 regularly now. And in this field, I think he's in a similar class to Rory and Scottie on his day. Oh yeah. But I personally see 18 as a bit of value and would have expected him in this field to probably coming in around 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair enough. He just didn't make it into any of my models. So, but again, as you said, the eye test shows he's back in form. He's looking like the Jason Day of old. So, yeah, I mean, good luck to you.
Good luck to me. Yeah.
Anyone else?
He's at 18 monies, and then just at the bottom of the first page, I've got quite a strong interest in this section this week. So you just mentioned Jaeger there.
Yeah.
17.6.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite squeeze him in with the balanced structure I've gone for.
Yeah.
I've got Thomas Dietrich at 17.2. Strong consideration at the minute. Now, he won at Phoenix a few weeks ago and then struggled with a 53rd and 2 missed cuts after that. But like we say, like how often do these players struggle to back up a win?
All the time.
But then he's come out last week and shown strong show and finished 22nd at the Valspar. With strong sort of all-round game really, around the green approach, putting tee to green.
Yeah.
So and before his win as well, there was top 15s, tie for 5th in there in 2025. So I'm backing him, I think, to have another strong showing this week in this field.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. Where do you see Tony Finau? Like he's got previous course. He's done well at this course before. I think he's won. Not last year, year before, was it?
Yeah, 23 won this.
For me, his form doesn't show that he's going to do anything this week, but his well ranked. He's still pretty high in the world considering, isn't he? But it at 18.4 monies, I think it's, again, not for me.
No.
Same with Minwoo Lee. He's not a putter, is he?
No, but he can send it.
He can send it,
which is an advantage on this course.
But again, on these Bermuda grass greens, are you going to do well if you're not a good putter?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had a glance at both of them, but for the price, I think there's better players in the mix, I think.
Agreed.
If you want a more balanced team, as I say, anything, you're putting players in at that price, then you detract them from the rest of your team. I think if you've got too many of them up there. Yeah. I tried to have a play with a team with someone 19 sort of million plus, and it just didn't look like the underdogs are just a bit rubbish this week. So that's why I've gone a bit more balanced, which we'll come on to them.
I've gone stars and scrubs.
Have you?
If you can put a scrub, a major champion as a scrub.
Well, just whilst we're still on the first page, then before we come to the scrubs, because as I say, mine's pretty balanced, and I've I've got 3 of the bottom 4 on that first page. I've got Bridgman as well. Is very, very high up on the model this week. And I've got, I nearly captained him. When you look back at his last few events, he's playing well. He had a title 50th at the Players. But either side of that, he's had a 2nd, 15th and a 3rd. He's gaining strokes, putting and around the green and off like everywhere, really. So I just think he's perfect for this, and he's played this event once in 2024 and finished tied for 21st as well. Yeah. Again, gaining strokes across the board in that. So it's 16.8 monies for him. Is, as I say, I nearly captained him because I think his stats give him a great shout this week, and his form, and it's a nice price. That's 16.8, and just below him as well, 16.6. We've got McNeely in there as well.
I know,
Maverick.
He was a consideration for me this week, but
that's it. If you go on Stars and Scrubs, players like that have got to
bow out.
Yeah.
Not really Stars and Scrubs, I wouldn't say, to be honest.
No.
It's one from either end, and then a couple hovering around the middle.
Mid-price mix.
Yeah. It's not really the strategy's not there. I just literally tried to fill me 100 million with is the best I could, while including Scottie Scheffler, because I can't not pick him this week.
Yeah, like he should really. If he's on it, he should. Him and Rory should be battling out between themselves. But we've seen that it's not the case. So
nope.
we've got to consider all the others anyway. Yeah. Just while on McNeely, he's had 2 missed cuts in a row, which isn't great, and he was probably the last one in my team just because I could afford him.
Yeah.
So he's not set in stone by any means, but he's certainly worth considering. Because prior to them 2 missed cuts, he's had a tie for 9th and a 2nd place, gaining strokes putting. And his approach as well, especially at the Genesis there.
Yeah.
And he's up to something like 16th in the world now, I think, as well. He's having a great time of it. Won already this season as well. Well, I say this season, towards the end of 2024 at the RSM as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that rounds off the first page of the pricing.
Yeah.
Any on page 2 you're looking at?
Page 2, let me have a look.
Alex Smalley is the top of that page, 16.4 monies.
I think Alex Smalley I think that's a good price for Alex Smalley, given his performance of the Players.
They hiked him up massively last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't really in consideration of the price, but
no.
Back down to what looks a bit more value.
Yeah, I think that's value. He's not making it for my team personally, but I do think I see a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
Still world ranking 121. He hasn't been around for that long. So still a bit of a rookie sort of.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what his ownership.
Yeah,
because he missed the cut last week, but prior to that, like he was all the rage. Everyone because of he's gaining strokes everywhere and playing really well.
But for me though, if you sort of early in your career, say you're Alex Smalley, he doesn't look that confident, does he? When he's on the course. If you've got a lot of hype about you, you're in a few headlines, you're starting to deal with media, it's going to make you miss cuts in it. I think it's a lot of, unless you're Tiger Woods, you're not going to deal with it that well. So maybe a week off last week, missing the cut, hype's come down a bit. He might do well this week, you never know. But I wouldn't be risking it for 16.4 million for me.
Fair enough.
Mitchell is on my radar, maybe making it into my team, due to the fact that he's way up in all of my models.
16 monies.
Yeah. But again, his past record doesn't seem great in any really. He's made 6 out of 7 cuts, no top 10s. His world ranking's 111. Probably won't make it into my team for 16 million, but he's definitely on the radar.
Yeah. Right,
given the model.
He's nowhere near on mine.
Yeah.
No, not sure how that's worked, but yeah, he's nowhere to be seen. And I hadn't looked at him.
No.
Ben Griffin was one I'd looked at.
Well, I've been following him on TikTok recently, Ben Griffin.
Yeah.
And he gives a day in the life every single week for how he's preparing, driving up to the course, what rental cars he's getting, what he's spending his money on. It's really, really good to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He seems an all-round nice guy as well.
Fair play. Like it, Ben.
Yeah.
Not good to watch this last 2 weeks, though, if you had him in your team, because he's missed the last 2 cuts.
Yeah.
But prior to that, a few weeks ago in February, there was a couple of tied for fourth in there as well. Around the green and putting strokes, I think, is what puts him at the top end of my model. Like he's solid most weeks in that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's of consideration. Could well come in for McNeely for me.
Yeah.
15.8 monies.
Jake Knapp coming off the 59 still. Obviously got some ability, got a lovely rhythmic swing again. Does he make it into your team this week?
No, not for me. He's not. He's not been shown enough. Way down on the model.
Way down.
Let's just see. Yeah, he missed the cut last week. Obviously, good form prior to that. It's interesting, like to see that he's so far down on the model. He missed the cut here last year and is only showing at the events. Yeah, I hadn't really considered him because he hadn't come up on the model.
Yeah.
He's gaining strokes putting though. Inconsistent around the greens. I think that was what cost him last week. Losing 4 strokes around the green last week. Tee to green, he's lost 7.6.
Yeah. It's crazy for such a lovely swing.
Could bounce back. Not. I wouldn't totally rule him out. Let's say I hadn't considered him because he's like down in like 85th or something on my model.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Kirk
So what's he at? He's at 50.4 monies. Kitty Arm 15.2. I kept looking at him.
Me too.
But his stats are just like he's
terrible.
High up on the model, but I was just looking at his stats, like doing nothing for me. So I kind of dismissed him really. Yeah. I have got Taylor Moore in at the minute.
All right.
What price was he? 15.8.
Yeah.
Again, off the back of a miscut last week, but relatively consistent before that. Again, so him and Maverick are the ones who there's quite a few in that category who could potentially come in for them because there's quite a bunch around that price point between the 16.6 McNeely and 15.8. So
I see a bit of value in Nick Taylor there at 15 million. Obviously, big up Nick Taylor, Canadian guy.
Yeah.
15 million. He's already won this time. Already won this season. I think it's a good shout. Decent form.
No, I like him. He seems to come into consideration every week for me.
Yeah.
Just seems to be pretty consistent throughout 2025, doesn't he?
2 top 10s already. 7 out of 8 cuts made in 8 events. But I mean, consistency is what you need in this game and making cuts. So.
One miscutted the players last week, last time out.
That's no bad thing, is it?
No, especially it's just difficult.
Sawgrass was difficult. Totally different kettle of fish in it.
But if you're looking for someone who gains strokes on his approach play, like he's consistently in the green gaining strokes every week prior to that one, and then his putting, he's gaining on putting most times as well. Around the greens a bit hit and miss. When he does gain, he's not gaining huge numbers. So, I'm not sure. I'll be having him in my team this week.
Definitely a consideration. I don't think he's there yet, but I'm not locked in yet. That's where I am.
Yeah. Just at the bottom there, Harry Hall. Talking about. Yeah, Harry Hall. Mr. Flat Cap.
Yeah.
He is second on my model.
Really?
Yeah. He's had a type 54th last time out of the Valspar, missed the 2 cuts before that. 34th and missed the cut before that as well. So I can't be having him.
Let's be having you.
But he's second. He's coming second on my model, and it's because of the waiting on around the green and putting. He gains every week on it, but his tee game at the minute is just...
That's really crazy
letting
because he's
him down.
20th in my model and I've gone heavy in around the greens.
But yeah, he's clear of Rory, clear of Sung Jae.
No way.
But yeah, like you can't just look at your model. You've got to look at everything else as well. And he's missing cuts and he's not playing well enough off the tee. So be interested to see how he gets on. Whether or how, like, because that'll tell you how big an impact that sort of stat has on depending on this event.
Definitely.
Page 3, Ricky Fowler's at the top of that 14.8. Nowhere near on the models, not a consideration.
Not for me.
But he's got to win it. He's got to win it if he wants to go to the Masters.
Yeah, he has, yeah. So he might be pushing for it, but golf's a head game, really, isn't it? It's not about... I mean, you can give it more, but I think sometimes if you push too much, you fail, don't you? So he's got a good... He's shown in the TGL, he's got a good head on him. And he's calm under pressure and everything like that. And he's got a lovely swing and stuff. But I just don't think he's there this week for me.
No, he's shown a bit. He's not played a lot of late.
Yeah.
At the Cognizant, he had a tie for 18th, and then we've not seen him for a couple of weeks, and then he at the Players, and then he missed last week again as well.
Maybe he doesn't want to play in the Masters. Maybe he's boycotting.
Yeah, well, they said when he announced that he wasn't playing last week, it was a bit of a surprise because obviously it was only one of a couple of events where he needed to win, so he needs to show up this week. But I think we found recently that when players need to, when there's something on it and it matters more to them, they find a bit. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him sort of find a top 10 out of nowhere this week.
Well, he's found it in the TGL, hasn't he? Yeah. I mean, New York have absolutely defied all odds, haven't they? So whether that's an omen for this week, I don't know, but one for consideration, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's a watching brief. I hope he does well.
Yeah,
but he's not shown enough to back it up.
No, I agree. Max McGreevy's going to make it in my team this week. He's decent in my model, 9th. He is also had 5 straight made cuts. He had tied for 19 here back in 2021, so he's got course knowledge. Usually good on Texas courses. So for me, he's definitely going to make it in my team at that price. I think he's a brilliant price there. Quite consistent, isn't he?
Yeah. I did look at him because I had the same sort of perception of him. But his model says, computer says no.
Really?
Yeah.
He's 9th on that.
Nowhere to be seen.
Oh.
Let's just open him up and just have a look at his
his
numbers.
insides.
Oh, right, I've got too many tabs open here.
This is actually my favourite page 3. Not just. I think there's a load of good players on this, especially the Holgards. No relation. Ryder, Norgard, Rio, Hisasun.
It's a tune, isn't it?
They've all been playing well. I think it's a good page.
None of them meant to be consideration. Coming down to, I've got Novak at 14.6 as my underdog currently.
Yeah,
and like I basically built my team around him being my underdog. He's up near the top of my model. I think he's a really good price this week.
Yeah, I agree.
And Andrew Novak, 29-year-old American. He's missed a couple of cuts. He's missed 2 cuts in his last 4 events, but he's consistent off the tee. He's consistent around the green, and he has had a 3rd place this year. A couple of a top 15 there. He made the cut in his only start at this event last year. So I think at this price, I like him. Because generally, when I was doing my research, going below that, there wasn't much that appealed.
Yeah, I think you mentioned last week about Nicholas Echeverria. And he did really well last week. He was 16th, wasn't he?
Yeah, just faded a bit on Sunday, didn't
A little bit, yeah. But he's definitely one to consider this week. He's not in my model at all. So I wouldn't be picking him, but it's not all about the data, remember. It's sometimes about, a bit of a gut feeling with fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to consider everything. You can't just, if you go purely based on stats, I mean, it'll work for you at times, but just, like you say, with Scottie, the stats don't tell you that his head's gone, and he's like shouting at his caddy, and he's really frustrated, and it's not all there for him. Like, the stats don't tell you that, so that's why you've got to consider everything. The stats won't tell you Ricky Fowler's got a chance this week, but players who need to find something generally do, so you may well, and there's just things like that to consider, I think.
Yeah. What do you think of Victor Perez?
Don't really know him.
He's high in my model.
He's
made 4 out of 6 cuts.
Former DP World Tour, isn't he, the French fella?
Yeah. He's 22nd last time out, which was a decent showing. But he's gained strokes on approach in the last 4 or 5 events. Tied for 17th here in 2023. I think he's really good value. Down at 14.2 million monies. So for me, he's a good pick just to pack it out, pack my team out. It's either him or
He's still on page 3.
Yeah. No, just him for this page for me. Him and McGreevy.
Page 4.
Anyone else on that page, or is that you?
That's it for me.
We've got 2, and I'm really struggling with this page because we've got Doug Gim. You mentioned him last week, but he's actually a Texan player, isn't he? So he's used to playing in Texas. It's a different kettle of fish playing in Texas, apparently. But Armadillo's knocking around everywhere and that. Tough conditions. Made 5 of the last 6 cuts, and he's an elite iron player, isn't he? Really good with his irons. So it's either him for me, or
he's been very popular in recent weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah.
With
he's
consistent,
at the top of the models, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that's because of his approach play, which has been a key stat for the Florida swing.
Yeah.
Has been in the green. Like, he's gaining 8 strokes at the Cognizant, 2.5 at Phoenix, 6.5 at Pebble Beach. But then the last 2 events, he's lost 3 and lost nearly 5 in the last 2 events.
Yeah, that's why I'm not gone with him. He still may get in, but Matt McCarthy.
He's losing strokes gained putting every week as well, which is a big, massive no-no for me this week. So Doug Gim, not a consideration. McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy, 2nd on my model. And given the price.
2nd overall.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Matthew McCarthy. Given the price of what, 14 million, is he? 14
monies.
14 monies. Made 6 out of 9 cuts. No top 10s, but
16th and 20th last 2 events.
Yeah.
Not to be sniffed at.
No.
Gaining strokes putting. Could be a shout. His approach play is generally, his around the green play though is generally
toilet.
So yeah, his approach play needs to be, his tee to green stuff needs to be dialed in for him to do well.
Yeah. Nobody else really for me. Other than maybe Ollison's playing again. And
I had a little look at Turbone.
Who's that?
Turbone Ollison.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a consideration for me again, but it just doesn't seem to do it over in America.
No.
Like, he's finished 36th last time and missed the cut before, 49th the week before. Just like,
I like to see him on the DP World Tour, to be fair.
He's quality on DP World Tour. Going over to these events though, he doesn't seem to step up. Yeah. Come back over here, Turbone. Come back and play on the DP World Tour so I can pick you in my fantasy DP World Tour game.
Or in Singapore, wherever you want to play. The Golden Tour now, innit?
Yeah. Yeah, so no consideration for me, Mr. Ollison.
No,
Joel Damon,
not for me.
not this week.
Not for me.
No, too erratic. He's he's feasting, like we said last time, feast and famine. He can do really well, or he can just absolutely bomb out. And I'm not prepared to take the risk.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The only other player who took me sort of eye on this page is Ryan Fox because of his distance, long course. Could be to his advantage that he can absolutely send it.
Yeah. Not for me. It's just his consistency. Just his form is just not very good, is it? For the past year or so, is it? Maybe even longer now. He's just not had it since his win at the PGA a couple of years ago.
Well, you're going back a ways there. He's not played that bad, lad.
He's not pulled up any trees, though.
No, couple of missed cuts this year. Not really done anything whilst in America.
No.
Tied for 20th of the players.
Yeah.
Generally playing pretty shit, actually. Occasionally throws in an half decent performance. Tied for 10th at the Dubai Desert Classic.
Yeah.
Not enough. Not enough to consideration. Scrap that.
Scrap that.
Fuck that. Jib Ryan Fox off. This page 5.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a graveyard as well, mate.
It is.
You mentioned Hadwin.
There's some sprinkler heads out there this week, crying.
Cactuses beware.
And armadillos.
Yeah.
Adam Hadwin's
on the loose.
stand on you when you start spewing.
Yeah.
I picked him last week he was really high on the model last week. He was really, I think he was 3 under after the first day, and then he just capitulated. Not one for this week because of that.
There was a lot of tantrums being thrown, wasn't there, last week at the Valspar?
Yeah.
See, Thigala lashed his club.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but the guy who punted his putter up in the air about 600 feet.
On the green as well.
Yeah.
That's really bad, that.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah.
Really bad.
There's a few tantrums being thrown and clubs. Oldrick Potgieter. Another one who can send it.
He can, and he's long. But
unless he's got water to carry. Long in the shower. Yeah, no, it's a absolute graveyard for me. For me, there's nothing that takes me fancy. Grillo, had a little look at him at 13.4 monies. Emiliano Grillo.
Yeah.
But he's way down on the model, so just that's more of a gut feeling than anything. Stats don't really give him too much of a hope. He had a 22nd at the Valspar last week, but he's losing around the green every week. So
I just feel like,
whilst his approach plays shit as well. So yeah,
Rosner is there, but Norlander, right? I picked him last week. He's only 13.4, but he was the only one to make the cut with Justin Thomas for me. I just think he's one to look at,
Norlander.
Yeah, Henrik Norlander. He shot 4 under last week.
Right.
And I just thought he played really well. I've seen some of his shots. Didn't see much of this event, to be honest with you.
Nowhere to be seen on my model.
Is he now?
Nowhere to be seen. Swedish guy, 38 years old.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. It's his birthday.
Should we sing happy birthday to him?
No. There's too many miscuts and shit finishes in there for me.
Yeah, great.
Around the green stats, dreadful. Approach is good though.
Yeah.
So if you can stay dialed in and not have to be scrambling too much, you never know. But that's why he's not showing on my model, because he's not scrambling. But maybe that's because his approach play is good. But so many miscuts in there, like, nah.
Kevin Roy this week now.
You know what? I didn't pick him just because you're laughing at me again.
Is he in your model?
Nah, he doesn't score too badly actually, but he's a bit of a ways down. But he's off the back of 2 miscuts. Well, 3 miscuts in 4, and the one he finished well at was Puerto Rico, which is like not the level of field that he needs to be showing in to be in consideration really. No, he's losing around the green. He's losing putting. So yeah, No, see you later, Kev.
Kev. Is that you for page 5?
Yeah, page 5's absolutely full of biffs.
Page 6 for me, I've got nobody to really discuss. Maybe if you wanted to discuss him, CT Pan.
Don't want it.
But if you don't want him, like it's not really a pick I'd be going with. It's someone who may do okay, consistent.
Yeah, I've got nothing on my model coming up of any insight or giving us much hope on this one. Sami Valamaki's made the last 4 cuts. He's not played in this event before, but he's not
He's always good. He's always
great.
granted a good finish, though, isn't
But yeah, very brief consideration for him. Taylor Montgomery as well was brief consideration, but let me just pull him up actually, because I think the only reason I ousted him from my team was because I could afford better. Taylor Montgomery at 13 money, he's down the bottom there.
Yeah.
Missed the cut at Puerto Rico. I've not seen him for a couple of weeks, but he's gaining putting most weeks. But yeah, just not consistent enough, not showing enough for me. He's priced down at 13 million for a reason.
Yeah.
Zach Johnson's high on my model actually.
Yeah.
He come up on yours?
Nope. Flash from the past.
But yeah, don't. I can't be picking Zach Johnson. I just think he's over the hill.
Well, talk about over the hill.
49 years old, missed the cut at the Valspar.
Yeah.
Around the green though, he's getting up and down, and his putting is what's putting him up on my model, I think. But he's losing off the tee.
Yeah, he's very short off the tee.
Yeah. Any considerations on their view?
No, not at all.
Excuse me. Not at all.
Page 7.
Getting right down into the barrel scrapers here now.
No, this is my underdog.
Go on then, take it away.
Padraig Harrington. 12.6 monies. 3rd on the model. Absolute value from a former major champion.
Go on. How's he 3rd on your model? What's he showing there?
Score of 98.68 over the over my key metrics.
Like, don't get me wrong, he's performing well in the senior tour. He had tie for 12th, and then in the event before that, he finished tie for 6th.
Yeah.
But he missed the cut in Mexico. It was his last PG Tour event.
He's just...
How's he so high up on your model?
I have no idea. But I can't look past it now. And given I've got money to spend. But given I've put Scottie in, I needed someone below deck, if you know what I mean. So if he's as high as he says he is on my model, maybe my model's out, I don't know.
We'll find out, lad.
We will find out.
12.6 monies. Nothing else on there came. I literally haven't looked at anyone else.
You're not going to look at Tristan Lawrence, are you?
No chance. No chance.
Rio Hoshino, though.
Nate Lashley was one that mentioned last week, didn't we?
Yep.
And he did okay.
Yeah, he did.
I think
64, which is acceptable, really.
Well, I think he's fading on Sunday without having the leaderboard in front of me. But he was there for quite a bit. But yeah, there's so many miscuts and stuff like that.
No, he's not one to...
I don't know why I considered him last week. That's horrendous.
Hoshino seems to be up thereabouts on a Friday afternoon, and then that's about it. So, not for me. And then, I'll be honest with you, the rest of the pages, there's nobody who I would even consider, which is not... It's quite common.
It's all right if you don't have to, but if you're going with the big ones, then you do need to try and find someone down here. There's not a lot going for any of these guys though.
See, if I took out
Paul Peterson comes quite high on my model. What page is he on? He must be on he must be further down.
I wonder could I make a team with Rory
12
and Scottie?
12.4 monies. Good luck to you if you're doing that.
I'd have to use this. This is what I mean. I'd have to use it.
Yeah, Paul Peterson shows up quite well because his stats around the green are good, but he's missing cuts in the on a consistent basis. It's hard.
Carlos Sainz Jr. coming over from Formula One to play in his first golf event. Not real. Peter Malnati obviously won the
Valspar last year, didn't he?
So he's a winner on tour. I mean,
He's played garbage since, hasn't he?
You've got to have something about you to win on tour, though, surely. What about Paul Waring? Step up and trip too much for him.
We pulled out last week, don't we? Do we know whether that was illness or injury or what?
I don't know.
Aaron Baddeley, we had Eric Van Rooyen withdraw again.
Yeah.
Aaron Baddeley stepped in. His stats around the green are ridiculous.
Good or bad?
Good. He's gained shots around the green, but he's just losing off the tee, which is costing him. But he could be one to consider down at a lower price. Yeah. Australian dude.
Yeah. Longer. No relevance to fancy whatsoever. Yeah, that's about it. And last page, I think.
Just biffs.
Rafael Campos maybe is the only one.
No, nothing for me there, mate.
Who I've really heard of. Jimmy Walker's just been slowly fading into oblivion since about 2016.
Yeah, we showed up on a DP World Tour a couple of times last few months, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Nothing there either as well. Yeah. He's over the hill. And far away. Still going. So based on that team I've got together at the minute, so Jason Day is my most expensive player at 18 monies. Thomas Dietrich 17.2. Bridgman 16.8. Novak is my underdog 14.6. And then I've got Taylor Moore and Maverick McNeely, who are the ones who are probably most sort of not risky. Certain of who could well make way. So yeah, that's where my team is at the minute. Could potentially throw Taylor in there, save 0.8 on Moore. And then that would be able to get me to bump McNeely up to someone 17.4 on the Michael Kim range.
Yeah.
Which
Michael Kim, we didn't mention him actually.
Well, no, that's because he missed the cut last week, didn't he? But everything prior to that was absolutely solid. And
again, the media could have had because he was in all the headlines, wasn't he?
Yeah, spotlight off him a bit this week. He could bounce back, couldn't he? Because he's high up on my model again. So that might be a move I make. Actually, I might go more down to Taylor, and then McNeely can go up to Kim. It looks a bit stronger for me, I think.
Yeah.
Where are you looking? What's your team? And what's this team you've got?
Scottie Scheffler captain, Victor Perez, McGreevy, Jaeger, McCarthy, and Padraig Harrington as underdog. Very rogue team this week, I'm not going to lie. But high on my models. My model seems to be a bit out there as well. So I'm putting trust in data this week and a little bit on the eye test.
Not feeling it with your gut?
Not really. I mean, Scottie Scheffler, I just can't look. If I've got the money to spend on Scottie Scheffler, I'll spend it on him. Like, given that Rory's so long off the tee, but he's not hitting in the fairway this week, puts me off him a little bit. But long course, Rory could really dominate here if he goes at it. But then, can he go back to back? We've not seen it recently, have we?
No. I just realised I've got one whole monies in the bank with that team. So if I do downgrade Taylor, I've got 18.4 left if I take McNeely out.
Bloody hell.
That can get me a Tony Finau, or Wyndham Clark, or a Siwoo Kim.
Siwoo Kim, or could you even amend it for an Aaron Rai? Or is that too much?
That's not too much of a stretch. I wouldn't even want to do that, I don't think. In the fields.
What's he done for you?
No, it's just his price this week. I just don't think he's value.
no, I
I
agree.
think there's better value elsewhere.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Woo Kim in. You know what? Yeah, go down to Taylor. I've still got 0.6. But yeah,
I've still got 1.4 million.
still a day and a half to go.
Yeah,
together.
I'm not locked in there yet. I'm going to have a little bit more route around my model and see what we can do. But I do think I've gone a bit rogue, so I might have to evaluate. But obviously, nobody knows until we know.
Give us a mention in the comments. Let us know what you're picking. Who have we missed? Who's there down in the doldrums, scraping the barrel that we've not considered? Who you think might be worth an underdog consideration? And
give us a shout if you're playing with us through our link. Prize pool at 2,200 at the moment. First place at 814 quid. That's you a nice set of pre-owned P790s if you want them. It'd be worth a shot. Anything else to add?
No, I think that's all from me. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Bit of a different challenge this week from the Florida course we've had in recent weeks. Yeah, love the Texas events. So yeah, fingers crossed. Good luck, lad.
Up the armadillos. I've been Jay.
I've been Dan.
See you next time on the FanTeam powered Here We Golf Fantasy Podcast.
Take it easy.